1 year ago, we got the keys to our new build. A lot has changed since then. From first impressions to the upgrades we've added, we're sharing what it's really like 1 year on. Let's dive straight into it. Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. This week we're doing our 1 year review because we have been here now for 1 year in our new built home. Time flies, it's hard to believe, but here we are.
Yeah, so everyone obviously assumes that when you buy a new built home, there's no work needing to be done, there's nothing really you'll change, it's all new, it's all fresh and everything's great. But we quickly discovered that there was several different things that we would have liked to have upgraded. So we made those upgrades and those changes over the last year, and anyone who's been following our channel will have seen some of those videos. But in this video we're just going to show you everything that we've done, changed and upgraded, and at the end we're also going to have a bit of a discussion about what it's like to live in a new build. Would we do it again if we had the choice, and some of our favourite takeaways from that.
And for those of you interested, we are in Northern Ireland, and stick around because we will share the price of 3-bedroom semi-detached home in Northern Ireland. So if you're interested and curious, stick around till the end. So the first issue that we had to tackle was the lack of storage outdoor, which is super important in a home. So the first thing that we did, literally as we moved in the same day, was we installed our shed. James will tell you more about that because this is the love of his life, is this shed.
So guys, as Ramona said, the first issue we had to tackle was the lack of outdoor storage, and we overcame this by building our own shed from scratch. It's a 10-foot by 8-foot shed, and I built it alongside my dad with a bit of help from Mum and Ramona. If you want to see more details of that, check out the link in the description for the full video on how we built it. But yeah, it's been a great addition to our home. It gives us lots more outdoor space, somewhere to put our lawnmower and our barbecue and all our other little bits and pieces that we can't store in our home. So definitely a very important thing to have for anyone if you don't have a garage.
So the next thing that we tackled, which was also very early on as we moved in, is to create a patio out the back of our garden. The house came with 1 row of slabs around the house, which is standard for most of the new builds, but we wanted to extend that a bit just to give us more space for different things like putting an outdoor table during summer for barbecues and so on. And so yeah, James again and his dad came to the rescue, so we were able to save a bit of money, and it took us, I think we did this over the space of 2 days. So the first day I think we laid down 18 slabs, the following day we completed it.
The third improvement we decided to make on our home was to install a bit of colour and a bit of beauty, you might say, in our garden. So we installed a flower bed along the back wall. We then later this summer actually installed a second flower bed, so we've just inserted that footage here as well. So we now have sort of like an L-shaped flower bed running all along our back fence and the side of our fence. We've got various different plants, and it's really added a touch of colour and a bit of class to our garden, I think.
One of the issues that you are going to encounter in a new build is the fact that your flooring will usually not be done in the attic. So this is one thing that we decided to tackle.
So we decided to take on this job by ourselves. It was a very nasty, uncomfortable job. As anyone who's worked with insulation will know, it's very itchy and not good to breathe it in. So it took me roughly probably 2 days to do this work, and I did it all by myself more or less. Definitely worthwhile doing for all that extra storage we got. Again, the video will be linked down in the description if you want to see the full process.
One of the great features of our new built home, which was a deal breaker for us, so we looked for a home that only had stoves, and the ones that didn't we were not even interested in buying. So this is a feature that we really love, but the problem was the sticks. So we decided to make our own stick store and order lots of sticks that would keep us going for winter.
So we decided to build our own log storage / stick storage out of just wood from the timber yard, treated timber. It would probably hold, I would estimate, at least maybe 2 tons of sticks. So it holds quite a lot of sticks. It would do us all winter. We were really happy with how it turned out. It keeps the sticks nice and dry and plenty of airflow. Probably the biggest and most irritating thing about new build homes in the UK and Northern Ireland is the state of the gardens. Most people I've spoken to always say their gardens are rubbish, so we decided to completely renovate our front and back lawn again. This involved scarifying, overseeding, fertiliser, quite a long process, but again, I've made a video on that. If you'd like to see it, we'll link it too. And we think our garden turned out really well. When we first moved in, it was just nothing but weeds and just really, really, really poor dead grass. And now it's looking vibrant, luscious and green again.
So one big question you might have is, what has it been like living in a new build for the last year?
I think it has definitely met our expectations. I think when we first moved in, we expected everything to be absolutely perfect and there not to be any defects or issues, but slowly over time we came to realise that you have to be able to accept a certain amount of error and maybe little bits that aren't done perfect in your home. That's just, man's workmanship. It's not going to be perfect all the time. But we came to terms with that, and overall the quality of the house and the build quality has been great. One big thing we've really enjoyed the improvement of is the insulation. So our last house we rented was really poorly insulated. This house is really well insulated, and with the B EPC rating, high B or whatever this house is, it means that we have a really good level of insulation and it's really energy efficient. So what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking about when we first moved here, we actually got a professional snagger to come in, and I remember he did a snagging report, which is a bit shocking when you get the report and you see all the faults which you didn't really pick up on yourself. And as James already touched on, sometimes it feels like it's the end of the world, when you think my house is not perfect, but that's so common and so normal in new built homes. But you do come to terms with those things, and everything can be fixed and adjusted, so it's not a problem. So that is something to expect if you're going into a new build. Some walls are not going to be straight, some measurements are going to be slightly out. And one thing that I think I definitely have been enjoying about our home is the insulation. That's one thing that you can say about a new build that's definitely to your advantage, because your bills are a lot lower, and then having the stove as well helps us in winter. So yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest benefits.
And as Ramona touched on with the snagging report, yes, we got a snagging report. Yes, on the report there was maybe like 120 to 150 snags, but the majority of those were very small, minute things. Like, in fairness to the snagger, he was very thorough, but most of those things I didn't even bother going to the builders with, because I just thought they're too minor. One of the big things was insulation in the attic. He spotted that we needed a bit more up there. The builders sorted it. Another thing was underneath our stairs wasn't properly fireproofed. They spotted that and they sorted it as well. So there was only one or two things that I would class as quite major or big things, and even then still it's not the end of the world. But the quality of some of the builds, depending on where you are in the UK, can be shocking. So it's definitely worth getting a professional in who knows the building regulations to give it a quick once over, as they say, if you can afford to do that.
Yeah, I think it's something that people commonly agree on, people that buy new builds, is that the standard has just dropped over the years. So yeah, it's just important to give yourself that peace of mind, or just bring somebody along with you that has a very keen eye for things. You can get away with it, I think, even if you don't get a snagger, if you can't afford one. But if you can, it is a good idea, I think. So guys, I guess the big question as well is, if we could do it all over again, would we buy a new build or would we make a different decision?
Personally, I'm happy with the decision of buying the new build. We could have bought an older home at the time for maybe say £15,000 to £20,000 less, but in reality you would have been spending the majority of that over again on top, just to try and maybe put in a new kitchen, upgrade your bathrooms.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I would say if we could do it all over again, I would definitely go for a new build, because I mean, if you can afford it, yeah, definitely, because it does take away a lot of the decisions you have to make in installing a new kitchen. It just halts the process of you moving from one home to another, whereas for us, we literally just had to pack our things and unpack our things, and that was it. So it was a great privilege to be able to just come in and everything was done, floor and kitchen. There was not one thing that we were waiting for to install apart from our shed, which we installed like the day after. So yeah, definitely I would do it again, and I think over buying an older property for sure. Yeah,
we actually went from the start of the process through to moving into this new house in the period of about 5 to 6 weeks. Our house was complete and the deeds and everything was there because it's a new build. It didn't have to come from someone else in a chain selling their home and then moving. That's another benefit of a new build. Generally the pack is all prepared and ready to go. We saved around a 15% deposit for this house. It's not necessary. Some mortgages are 5%, 10%, whatever deposit, but we had about 15%, which was a decent amount. and we also kept a few £1,000 as a bit of an emergency reserve. So I would never recommend personally putting all of your savings into your deposit, because even like us in a new build, there was things we saw afterwards that we wanted to change, and if we didn't have that bit of money spare, we wouldn't have been fit to do our patio, we wouldn't have been fit to do our attic, we wouldn't have been fit to do all of those upgrades that we did outside. So always be smart with your savings as well.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, for probably the most interesting part of the segment is what is the price of a home in Northern Ireland that's 3-bedroom semi-detached. So we'll go into that.
Yeah, so our house is a 3-bedroom, technically 3-bathroom house. We've got an understair toilet and then 2 full bathrooms upstairs, an ensuite and a main bathroom. When we bought our home, it was between 170 to 180,000, which was only a year ago. We were thinking of holding out and not buying, trying to see if we could time the crash, time things to go down. Everyone on YouTube is an expert apparently at all this property prices and stuff, and telling you just wait, it's going to crash, If that was the case, we'd still be living in a rented home and we wouldn't have bought our house, and the prices are even higher now. So
guys, if you're interested in what our home actually looks like, because I know many of you might actually be curious, what does a home in Northern Ireland look like in terms of the layouts and things like that, well, we do have a house tour, and we'll link that down below as well.
Yeah, so thanks very much guys for tuning into this video, and as we've said in the video already, there's lots of links down below in the description for all the various DIY jobs you'll have seen us do, and for a full home tour as well. So don't be afraid to go and have a look at those, and if you've enjoyed it, leave a little like, it really helps us out. And if you'd like to see more of our content, please do subscribe. As I say, it does really help our channel and helps it get out to an audience of more like-minded people just like us, and hopefully just like you, who enjoy watching this type of content. So that's all from us this week, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks time.
Yeah, but if you have any questions, put them down below in the comments.
Yeah.
And also, if you have been somebody who has already bought a new build property, share with us what you have enjoyed about the home, and maybe some things that you have not enjoyed about the home as well. But yeah, as James said, we'll see you next week for more new build content.
Fun and games.
More fun and games, yeah, that's it.
Bye.